The roar of motorcycle engines echoed through the quiet country road, cutting through the golden hush of the setting sun. Dust lifted into the air, shimmering in the amber light, when suddenly a small figure stumbled into the middle of the road, waving his arms frantically. The bikers slowed down, confused, and that's when they saw him, a young boy. No older than 9, barefoot, his face streaked with tears and dirt. His shirt was torn, his lip bleeding slightly, and his eyes wide, terrified, desperate, were fixed on them, as if they were his last hope in the world. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of compassion to change lives, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this story. Your support helps us spread real stories that remind the world that humanity still exists. The boy's voice cracked as he spoke, barely audible over the soft rumble of the engines. "Please follow me home," he whispered. It wasn't a demand, nor a command. It was a plea, raw and trembling. The bikers, rough men with leather jackets and hardened faces, exchanged looks. These were men who had seen pain and violence, but something about this child's trembling words hit differently. Their leader, a gray-bearded man named Jack, stepped off his bike, knelt down and gently asked, "What happened, kid?" The boy just shook his head, tears streaming down. "Please, I just need help." They followed him. The road stretched endlessly through the fields, the last light fading into a dusky blue. The boy led them, stumbling and out of breath, down a narrow dirt path that cut through wild grass and led toward a small, crumbling farmhouse at the edge of the woods. The air grew heavy as they neared the place. A broken fence leaned to one side, the windows dark, the porch collapsing under years of neglect. Jack's instincts, honed by a lifetime of reading danger, told him something wasn't right. The boy stopped just a few feet away from the front door, staring at it as if it were a monster waiting to devour him. The bikers cut their engines. Silence swallowed the night. Crickets sang somewhere in the distance. "She's inside," the boy murmured. Jack frowned. "Who's inside, son?" The boy's lips trembled. "My mom. She's hurt. She hasn't moved all day." Jack's chest tightened. Without hesitation, he motioned for 2 of his brothers to follow and walk toward the house. The wooden steps creaked under their boots. When Jack pushed the door open, a wave of stale air hit them, mixed with the faint, metallic scent of something far worse. Inside, the dim light revealed a small living room filled with broken furniture, scattered toys, and the quiet, haunting sound of a fly buzzing against a window. On the old couch lay a woman. Her face was pale, her body frail, and her arms wrapped protectively around an empty blanket, as if she had been holding a baby that wasn't there. She wasn't moving. For a moment, nobody spoke. The boy stood frozen in the doorway, his small chest rising and falling rapidly. "Mom?" he whispered, taking a step forward. Jack felt his throat tighten. He turned to one of his men. "Call for help, now." But deep down he already knew. The woman was gone. The boy's cry shattered the silence. It wasn't the cry of a child throwing a tantrum. It was something deeper, something primal. It was grief, fear, and heartbreak, all tangled together in one sound that tore through the air. Jack turned away, fighting the sting in his eyes. The other bikers stood still, their usual tough exteriors breaking down as the reality of the scene sank in. When the ambulance came, it was already too late. The paramedics did what they could, but all they could offer was a quiet confirmation of what everyone already knew. The boy Eli, as they learned later, had been alone for 2 days. His mother had fallen ill, and without a phone or neighbors nearby, he'd tried to take care of her. When she stopped responding, he ran out into the road, hoping anyone would pass by. Jack and his crew, members of a motorcycle club often judged by their appearance, stayed until the very end. When the authorities tried to take Eli away for the night, Jack stepped forward and said he's not going anywhere alone. They followed the ambulance back to town, their bikes forming a silent escort under the cold glow of streetlights. At the police station, the officers recognized Jack's group. They weren't saints, but they weren't villains either. They rode for charity, often raising money for veterans and kids in need. The officer hesitated, then said, "He'll need to stay in child services until they find a relative." Jack looked down at Eli, sitting quietly on a bench, his hands clasped tightly around a small, worn-out photo of him and his mom. The boy didn't cry anymore. He just stared at the floor, lost, Something inside Jack broke that night. He remembered being that boy once lost, scared, pretending to be tough while the world crumbled around him. He walked over, knelt down, and placed a hand on Eli's shoulder. "You're not alone anymore, kid," he said softly. The following weeks changed everything. Jack and his crew started visiting Eli every day. They brought him clothes, food, and small toys. They took him for rides on their bikes, the wind drying his tears and the rumble beneath him making him feel, for the first time in a long while, safe. Slowly, Eli began to smile again, hesitant at first, then real. Jack learned that Eli's mother had struggled for years. Job losses, illness, and isolation had driven her to the edge. She had no family nearby, no one to call. The local authorities found no relatives willing to take the boy in. Jack made a decision that surprised even his own men. He applied to become Eli's foster guardian. It wasn't easy. His past was complicated, his lifestyle unconventional, but he was determined. The process was long, filled with background checks, interviews, and home inspections. Some people judged him harshly. A biker, raising a child? They sneered. But Jack didn't care. Every time he saw Eli waiting at the group home, sitting by the window with hope in his eyes, he found strength to fight harder. His biker brothers rallied around him. They cleaned his house, built a small room for Eli, filled it with books, a soft bed, and a nightlight shaped like a motorcycle. They even took safety classes and community workshops to prove they were serious. Months later, on a bright morning, Jack got the call. He had been approved. The moment he walked into the center to pick Eli up, the boy's eyes lit up like sunrise. He dropped his backpack, ran across the room, and hugged Jack with all the strength in his small arms. Jack lifted him up and whispered, "You're home now, buddy." From that day forward, everything changed. The biker who once rode alone now had a passenger who laughed every time the wind hit his face. The gang that once scared people became local heroes. They organized charity rides in Eli's mother's memory, raising money for single parents struggling to survive. And every year, on the anniversary of the day they met, they rode down that same stretch of road, parking their bikes under the fading sun as Eli placed flowers by the fence line where he first appeared. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Eli sat on the porch beside Jack. He was older now, stronger, but the memory of that night never left him. "You know," he said quietly, "I think Mom sent you." Jack looked at him, his voice low and rough. "Maybe she did, kid. Maybe she knew I needed you as much as you needed me." They sat there in silence for a while, the world peaceful around them, engines resting for the night. The story of the crying boy and the bikers who followed him spread through town and beyond. People began to see that kindness doesn't always wear a suit and tie it. Sometimes wears leather and rides on two wheels. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. Every story we share is a reminder that hope can come from the most unexpected places. And before you go, we'd love to hear from you. Comment below what this story means to you, and tell us if you've ever witnessed an act of kindness that restored your faith in humanity. Eli and Jack's story isn't just about loss or pain. It's about how love can find you in the most broken moments, how strangers can become family, and how the smallest act of courage can change two lives forever. Sometimes the road we fear to travel leads us exactly where we're meant to be. And for one lost boy and one lonely biker, that road began with just 6 words whispered through tears: "Please, follow me home."